Yo, what's going on, man? We are back for another episode of Southern Hospitality, where me and my sister talk about the Black millennial experience in America. I'm your co-host, Landon Moss.
And I'm Gabby Moss. And today we are going to be reading these kind reviews that you guys have left us. Thank you so much for the support.
It's only one.
That's all right. More to come. We're going to talk about what we unlearned or learned this week, and an ode to Chadwick Boseman, the importance of storytelling and representation, and then finally the power of influence, social media. Oh, let me read that again.
Nah, keep going. You go.
Oh, shit. Okay. And finally, the power and influence of social media and media in general on our self-perception and then social perception.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to go ahead and start this thing up with the very first review that we got.
We're so excited.
Also, can we just talk about how great last show, like how good it was received?
Yo, we went from, so we checked it, I think, Wednesday, and we were at 201 downloads.
We had just posted the 200, like, thank you for 200 downloads thing.
We had just posted the thank you for 200 downloads. Check it today. We are at 333 downloads in less than a week. That's insane.
Insane, dog. So we just want to say thank y'all for that, man. Seriously, It seems like people are liking it. We appreciate it, man. Like, we really sincerely appreciate it. Like, it's great. It's great. Yeah. So we're going to start with this, the first review ever for Southern Hospitality. So it's from Magsy. And she says, the real conversation we need these, I'm guessing, days. She said, the conversation on this podcast are real, honest, and exactly what we all need, especially right now. It's refreshing to listen to a conversation that It's refreshing to listen to a conversation and one, feel validated for feeling the way you feel when others might challenge you. Two, learn and acknowledge perspectives you had not thought about yet. This brother-sister duo don't sugarcoat or hold anything back. Amazing, insightful, and entertaining. Magsy, thank you so much.
My heart.
Can I reply to this? Man, it don't even matter. But yeah, man, it's great. It's great to see that review, man. Like we were saying before we started the show, like we're just talking. You know what I mean? And for another thing, one of our friends from high school, Terrence, shout out to Terrence. He just moved to LA.
Yeah, Terrence.
So congratulations on moving, man. That is a big move. But he was saying, like, I'm just gonna read it. What he said. He said, Terrence said, my bad. Listen, I'm telling you, that was the podcast I needed during this pandemic. Thank you. And he was saying, like, it helped him, like, in his decision, like, to move, to take that leap of faith. And I'm like, damn, dude, that's amazing.
That's what it's about, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that conversations that are normal to us, like just being able to share that with other people, and they're like, yo, we needed this. It's like, dang. We just be talking.
Like, we talk this every day, like
all the time.
Yeah, but you want to go ahead and jump right into it?
Yeah. So,
all right, bet. So what? No, starting with you. What is one thing that you learned since we last spoke on the podcast?
You got me because you did the reviews. So one thing that I learned is the power of, as Landon put it, the fat ask. So the power of the fat ask is you'd be surprised what you will accomplish by just asking people, like just asking straight out what it is that you want. A lot of us are so afraid of no that we tell ourselves no before even giving somebody the opportunity to choose. And one thing that prompted that is I was talking to my dad, and we weren't even talking about money or anything like that. And just randomly I was like, hey, Dad, loan me $1,000. And he was like, okay, what's your Cash App? And I was like, what? It's like, this is it right here. And in less than 5 minutes, he had Cash Apped me $1,000. And so that had me thinking, because what motivated it, I was on TikTok and I came across this video, and this girl was talking about what happened to her over the course of 30 days after reaching out to like 100 people. She got a new job. She started a business. She like moved. It was all this crazy stuff from just reaching out to people, connecting with people. And so that's prompted me to have a bit more, to be more assertive when connecting with people, and to actually reach out and ask whatever it is that I want to ask. Like I reached out to somebody and was like, hey, I really like the way you run your Instagram. Could I pay you to run one of these accounts that I have? And she was like, here's my number. It's surprising almost, because I guess we're conditioned to believe that people don't want to help us, that we tell ourselves no before even trying. So that was one thing I learned is, yeah, just ask and see what people say. What about you?
So one thing that I recently learned was the importance, and this is gonna sound kind of cliche, but the importance of preparation. And it was because, so in my acting class, we have like, we do like these different exercises, and we have like scene work, and we're supposed to have like different things that kind of help you really live that true emotional life that you have in the scene. And so I kind of was getting away with it because I wasn't going first. So I would come to class unprepared. Someone would be going, and while they're going, I'm trying to like think about something. I'm writing down different things. Okay, that would be if I do that, I can feel like this. And so I'm literally doing it as like we're in class.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing was, like, it was good. Like I was still getting like good emotional life, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, oh yeah, it's working, blah, blah, blah. And then last class, a couple days before last class, I'm like, I'm actually prepared. I'm actually gonna come into this prepared and know what I'm gonna be feeling. I know what's gonna be my motivation, all this stuff. And when I tell you, like, it was insane. I mean, my chest was on fire. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I really was like truly immersed in this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something I think a lot of people do is like, oh, I'm getting by doing this like last second, or like, you know what I'm saying? It looks good. It looks good. But like when you really see the I mean, it's such a difference when you're actually prepared. Like you can be good when unprepared, but you can be great when you actually take the time to prepare. And so I think just from doing that, I was like, damn, I gotta do this shit more often. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually gotta like prepare, like, cause I really think I could do something with this.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Completely agree.
And so yeah, just the importance of preparation and how you can really, really, I don't know where I'm going with this, but you can really like
take yourself to the next level.
There we go. I'm gonna redo that. So you can like really, really take yourself to the next level.
Yeah. Honestly, if you I always feel like success leaves clues. I read that quote somewhere. And success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. If you look at the people that are very successful, they do that. I think you told me once about Viola Davis and how she was that the one that writes the whole story about her characters?
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan writes journals on how his character feels every day.
Yeah. Like that preparation. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I think you can do it.
Yeah, she says she writes like whole books about their life story.
And you can tell because you get immersed in her character. Like, this isn't even her.
Right.
Oh, man. Acting is such an art, bro. Like, I think I was telling you I was crying because I was watching The Office.
Hell no, you didn't tell me that.
I didn't tell you I was crying when Michael left? Michael Scott?
Nah.
Landon, I told you this. Okay, so I have recently started. Well, I've been watching The Office for a while. It's probably the only television show that I watch, like actually watch, because I don't watch a lot of TV.
You watch Insecure?
No, I don't have HBO. I tell you this all the time.
Okay, I'll give you my after this. I'll give you my code. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, I love The Office, and sorry, spoiler alert for people who haven't seen The Office. Michael Scott leaves, right, and he basically quits. In the last episode, he doesn't tell them that he's leaving. He just says that, he's got another couple of days before he leaves. And one of the characters figures it out that he's actually really close to. And they share this scene in the office, like in his actual office, and they're both trying not to cry. And I'm watching it like bawling because I'm like, Michael's leaving. What is The Office gonna be without Michael? Like, just enmeshed in these characters. And that's the coolest thing about acting, is just like the stories that are told. And you forget that they're not real, but because it resonates so deeply with you, it's real to you.
Yeah. I don't think people understand. I didn't understand how hard acting really is. I thought it was just memorize these lines and then say them. I'm mad here, happy here. Like, you really have to immerse yourself. Like the definition for like Meisner is like living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. And it's like legit, like you have to like legit feel that fire in your chest when you're upset and you're mad. Like feel the pain when someone leaves. Like let every word affect you. Like that shit is actually hard as hell.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people connect to these characters so much, is because they're truthfully showing that genuine emotion. Like
Yep.
Michael was probably, I mean, he was really like holding back tears. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I read like behind the scenes. I get real weird about this stuff, but I read like behind the scenes, and they actually were crying on set. Like they actually were sad that he was leaving, and they were yeah.
Wait, was this like the show like finale?
No, it was like, I mean, it was like they used to have 3 or 4 more seasons after.
Oh, without him?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's not the same, but it's interesting.
Damn, I thought he was there until the very end.
No. I don't do well with shows like this. Like Dexter, when his wife died, I stopped watching Dexter.
Spoiler alert for anybody who wants to watch Dexter.
Dexter's old. Okay.
So is The Office. People still just not watching it.
I know, true.
Oh, yeah. But so we're gonna go and keep talking about the art of storytelling and actors as well. And I was watching an interview recently with Chadwick Boseman, and just matter of fact, no, it was Ryan Coogler. He was talking about like his experience working on Black Panther, and also when he first met Chadwick, and just like the journey that those two went on with the storytelling, with the characters, is amazing.
Yeah.
And him as a actor, incredible.
Yeah.
But on top of that, him as a person, like you see the videos and stuff, the pictures of him at the hospital, like kids with terminal illnesses and stuff like that. Like this is all while he is fighting it himself.
Yeah.
He didn't tell a single person. Nobody on set knew. Like that blows my mind, man. Like I can't even imagine what he was going through. You know what I mean? To show that strength.
Yeah.
Throughout all these different things. You know what I mean? Like he's filming all these action movies, like fighting cancer.
Yeah.
Stage 3 colon cancer.
Yeah. Man, yeah. I saw a video of him when he was talking about the 2 kids that had terminally ill, and they were trying to hold on to see the movie. And I just can't imagine what it's like talking to somebody and knowing that you guys are actually have quite a bit more in common than you realize, like a disease that could take your life, and just the strength to be able to be that light for them, and while also battling with it himself on his, not on his own, but in private. Just speaks to, I mean, how monumental he was, and the effect he had, the influence he had on generations. Like a shout out to him. I'm trying not to tear up and stuff, but a shout out to him. I think that is representation is everything. And I think that's why he was so big to us, is because we saw ourselves in him, and that's why I always say storytelling is one of the most powerful things. I knew I was gonna start crying. Sorry about these tissues.
It's all good, man.
It's one of the most powerful things we can do, because just think about how you felt and the pride of being Black after Black Panther was released. And it's also why we mourn, because we saw ourselves in him. And so it's almost like losing a piece of yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's why, and that's why I'm always on you about storytelling, and anybody that is a creative, that writes, that draws, that speaks, whatever it is that your gift is, your purpose is to share that with people because there's people that need to hear it, that need to see it. You know, I made me start crying.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. Like it's crazy. Like even outside of just Black Panther, he played James Brown, Thurgood Marshall, Jackie Robinson, like some monumental people in history, and then especially in Black history.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy because Black Panther is probably the one that like
most people
resonated with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just when I first it's so crazy. Like yeah, like you were saying, that was us. You know what I mean? Like even like we watched a whole movie with everybody with African accents. You know what I mean? Like, and it was $1 billion movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm just gonna talk. When I went with Timmy, dude, we walk in the theater. It's people dressed up.
Yeah.
I mean, dressed up, showing out. I seen one thing. They had a whole they had the Congo drums out and everything. You know what I mean?
So
like
much pride.
It was pride and it was beautiful, man. It was like
Yeah.
Black is truly beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it's special. It's heroic. And I don't know, man. I just wish we would have gave him his roses while he was alive. You know what I mean? I don't think like people we love Black Panther, but like he made Black Panther.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't know. He holds a special place in the hearts of so many, hearts and minds of so many. You know what I mean? And showed us, like you said, representation matters. He showed us like we can be heroes, we can be superheroes, we can save the world.
Yeah, we're not limited to. That was one thing in a lot of the interviews that he spoke about, is just not being limited to these stereotypical roles and just being more than what society had placed on Black people, you know. And I think that's huge, because going back a couple episodes ago when we were talking about, you know, a lot of times we get boxed into these stereotypes or these roles, and it's hard to break out of them sometimes. That was one thing that was huge with him, is just showing Black people that you can be more than what society has told you you are. That you are more.
Yeah. I think that speaks on the importance, like you were saying, the importance of representation and how influential media is on our perception of not only like our social perception, but our perception of ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do I know I can be a superhero if I've only been a thug or a slave?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't see no Black superheroes.
right. Like, we had a Green Lantern, but like
you gotta get that man some respect.
But no, I just be thinking about that type of shit, man. Like it really blows my mind. Like all we've ever seen in movies is like it's changing now. Like with shows like Insecure and shows like Atlanta and Chewing Gum. Like we see like the everyday normal lives of Black people. Like, oh yeah, Black people live normal lives and go through the same kind of things that I go through. Oh, they're not all thugs and they're not all slaves. Oh, yes, massa. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think we got to do it's getting better. So it's, you know, people are aware of it now, but like, I don't know. It just blows my mind. Like for so long that it's always been Black people playing these same type of roles. And how can we ever like people, when we say like, no, that's not how it is. Like we really blah, blah, and this and this and this. No, you're not. Like, I'm telling you, I've seen it where, I mean, it's in all the movies.
Like, you going off of Hollywood? Okay. Yeah. And I think that's the beautiful part about this time that we're in now, is there's so many tools to help you amplify your voice.
Yeah.
You know, whereas go back, you know, a couple decades ago, podcasts probably weren't as popular. They didn't have the type of, you know, only a certain class of people had access to the tools where they could broadcast. And so the only things that we ever had access to was whatever somebody else gave us. Whereas now the other side of social media is that we have that opportunity to tell our stories and to connect with people that are like us.
Yeah.
Which again goes back to the art of storytelling. And I want to make sure people understand the power of storytelling, and that, if you have whatever gift that you have, use what you have to tell your story. The one thing that I've learned, even with this podcast, is my experience as Lauren Gabrielle Moss is unique. No one will ever experience life the same way that I've experienced it. But our experience as humans is very, very similar. And there's so many things that we share with one another, and that we have to get our voices out so that we can understand there's other people who are experiencing things with us. And as our community grows, that's how we heal. But it doesn't start until we share our voice, we share our stories.
Yeah. Kobe also talked about the importance of storytelling.
Yeah. And he was a storyteller in his own right.
Yeah, he was. I was listening to this podcast, like School of Greatness, when he was talking about how he got into it and everything. And, he started writing like the kids' books. I forgot what they're called. Oh, my God. He started writing like the kids' books and stuff.
I remember. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It'll come back.
It's like just even outside. I don't know. It's weird because when I always thought about Kobe, I always thought he was like this asshole, like just mean all the, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we only saw the Kobe on the court. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he was just like, he was so driven, like he would do anything to win. You know what I mean? Like that passion and that fire. And then after he retired, we started seeing this other side of Kobe, like the good, you know what I'm saying? The girl dad, and like he's giving back to all, like helping all these younger players and everything like that.
Really involved with the WNBA.
Yeah. But just his story alone, you know what I'm saying, and his words and how powerful they are, and about like the Mamba mentality and all that stuff. Like, he has influenced millions of people. You know what I mean? That mentality, like what it means to love, and just him talking about the important things in his life. Like that shit made me like reframe what I thought was important.
Yeah.
Reframe what I thought, like, because I just remember specifically he was talking about people, like they go to like these little basketball camps and stuff like that. Like he's like, yeah, you get better, but if you spend an hour a day just working on something, like within a year you make quantum leaps. And that shit stuck with me, like, because I would do like little things here and there. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm working hard. Like you can do more than that. You know what I'm saying? And just that mentality. Once I started to reframe it, and just hearing his story though, man, you know what I mean? Like it influenced the change in me.
Yeah.
You know? So
the power of stories, dude. That and that's one thing too. I don't think a lot of people outside of the Black community understand. Like it's been very hard for us this year. It's been very hard with, the pandemic that's disproportionately affecting Black people. Losing Kobe, losing, these are monumental people.
John Lewis too.
Yeah, that's what I said. Losing Kobe, Chadwick Boseman, John Lewis, like these are pillars in our community. And to lose those, like there's a collective sense of grieving and mourning in the Black community, because we've lost monumental figures, With that said, is someone's got to take their place.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, success leaves clues. They gave us the blueprint on how to be great, and it's up to us they've passed the torch. It's up to us to continue that on and continue their work.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This is a little off subject, but one thing I like, I hate when people like give us pity. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not looking for pity. Like, we're looking for people to understand.
Empathy.
Like, to be empathetic. But I hate when, and I think this is something that, like, and they're allies, but like a lot of white liberals will do stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like I see one thing. This woman, I'm just getting off subject, but
you're good.
This woman, there's like this church. She got all the white people. They stand up and they all gather around Black people, and they're like, all right, repeat after me. I'm sorry for such and such, such, such. I'm like, that type of shit is just ridiculous.
Shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Nobody's asking for all that.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
what? I don't want that.
Right. Like,
I don't want pity. Because when you pity somebody, you look down on them.
Exactly.
When I empathize with somebody, I see you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. Yeah.
It was this little documentary because I always try to like understand both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
And so it's called like Uncle Tom. One of my friends sent it to me and she was like, "Is this like right wing propaganda?" And I was like, "Oh, let me look at it for a little bit." And so, yeah, but there's truth in it. You know what I mean? There was truth in it.
Right wing propaganda.
They'll like, it's a whole different thing.
I don't know what it is. That's what I was asking. Like,
you know, like what the right wing is, like all conservatives, GOP, all that shit, and like the extremist kind of thing. And then like there's the left wing liberals, and so basically they're trying to like plant these different things, like this is what all liberals are doing, like they're doing stuff like this, and they're victimizing black people, like they're the reason black people have this victim mentality and all this extra shit. But
you know, it always baffles me how people turn black trauma, black pain, black bodies into a political statement.
Right.
That's so interesting to me. But then I realized, like, black bodies have always been a political statement.
Yep.
The country literally went to war because they were trying to decide over black bodies.
So, we're literally property.
Yeah, literally.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's always been. So when people, because I posted this, I have this video on TikTok that, you know, it has a couple thousand views.
Okay.
And
Talk
yeah,
your shit then.
Right. And it's literally just me before, when I'm during interview phase and I got my hair slicked back. And then after I get the job, I got my little afro out, whatever. And then there's two different people, right? It's me. And some of the comments were like, yeah, and then you're going to get fired. And I'm like, for saying that my life matters? And yeah, because that's political. Me saying that my life is important is a political statement. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a...
You know, since we're off topic, I'm going to keep on going. So I posted this one thing, and basically it's saying, you know, the whole thing with Kyle Rittenhouse, the dude that killed those two protesters, the white kid. So I posted this one thing. It's like, Tamir Rice was 12 and was killed for having a fake toy gun. Kyle Rittenhouse killed two people, walked by police after killing two people, and got to go home and sleep. And this shit has 8,000 shares. Like, and it's been going crazy. The comments blow my mind.
Oh,
they're insane.
Willful ignorance.
And I think that's the thing that's probably the thing that probably pisses me off the most, is when people try to have like these arguments or these strong stances and aren't even educated, right? So I'm like, this one dude was like, and he's like this little middle school kid, so he's like, oh yeah, blah blah. And I'm like, dude, there's no way you know, like, you know what I mean? Maybe you do. So I'm like, okay, so you know about like the black code, like, you know about black code and all stuff like that, right? And he's like, well, no. I'm like, okay. Well, you know about like, you know, like the Jim Crow era, like Jim Crow law, like segregational laws and all. He's like, yeah, no, not really. And I'm like, okay. Well, so you don't know all these things, but you're gonna say that racism doesn't exist? Like, you don't even. That's the basic stuff. That's not even like segregational ordinances. That's not about redlining, racial zoning. Like,
that's
the drug on war. Those are basic. That's basic knowledge about racism. How can you say racism doesn't exist when you don't know shit about it?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That leads me back to a point that I had with my former boss is, you know, they were like, well, if we can't come to you for information, then where are we supposed to go? What does it mean when they say, like, they're not, you know, we're not going to educate y'all? Like, how else are we going to find out? Or we're not going to debate with y'all? And I'm like, what black people mean when they say that is that if you don't understand the foundational stuff, the Jim Crow laws, like the lynching, all of that, I'm not going to argue or debate with you about stuff that's up here because you don't even understand the foundation of it. So It would make no sense to try to be up here with you because you won't understand. The dots won't connect to you or connect with you. And that's the thing with a lot of people on social media is they come in with their own opinions, their own skewed information, haven't done any research, don't know anything about, you know, the history of the United States as it relates to slavery, and yet they're trying to say that racism doesn't exist. Well, you don't know. Oh, I thought you was crying. I was like,
no, I was laughing. No.
Hey, have you ever seen that video of Jay-Z when he's like hugging Beyonce and like she just drops or something and he looks so like in shock, like that's how I felt. I gotta send it to you, but that's how I felt because I was like, "Is he crying?" What did I say?
No, I was laughing because at the Republican National Convention, this one dude, he said, "Oh my God, what did he say exactly?" But he was like, "Oh my God, let me see if I can find it." He was talking about like all these different things about like the Constitution, and then I think he said like, oh my God, I don't even know about it. But basically, he was saying someone signed the Constitution who didn't sign the Constitution, and then was like, and if you don't know that, then you don't know American history. And it was like, hey, you know that what you said isn't actually American history. Like, sir, do you know American history? And he was like all smug and like, if you don't know that, then you don't know American history. Nigga, you don't know American history. What is you talking about?
It's so funny to me how there's like this who can be the most patriotic.
Yeah.
But y'all don't know shit. None of y'all do.
Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna get back on subject. So we were talking about the importance of representation.
Yeah.
I think this spans outside of just media. Because even with like I think about stuff like in the courthouse or like even like jury duty or stuff like that, or like a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of representation matters as well.
Yeah.
Because when you have a skewed perception of like, oh my God, dude, I just saw this. I'm sorry. There was this cop in Arkansas, and he was mad at his wife because she had talked to a black dude, and he's like, "Oh, what are you, like a nigger lover? Like, you know, all the people in the store, you talk to the dread-headed nigger." And I'm like, okay, what? Like Sean King posted it. They need to open up every single case this man has ever had, because how can you ever say anybody got a oh my God, a fair trial or anything when you have people like that with that mindset? And that's another, representation matters if we're going to continue with the police force and the police force as well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because when you got people with that mindset, like how can you ever understand what a black person, you know what I'm saying? Like
they're not trying to serve and protect us
at all.
That's wild. All.
Dude,
that's wild.
That's insane.
That reminds me of the video that surfaced about the cop in Smyrna, Georgia, or Cobb. I just know it was Cobb County, and the lady, it was a white lady, and she had her hands on the steering wheel. She was nervous or something like that. And he's like, why are you so nervous? And she's like, well, I just don't want to get shot. And he's like, oh, we don't do that we don't do that. We only do that to black people. You're not black. Yeah, there was a video that's in Cobb County, Georgia, 20 minutes outside of Atlanta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. So representation matters because, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Did you hear about those families that opened up these families bought like, I think 97 acres of land?
Yeah.
That shit was dope. So for the people that don't know, there's like these 19 families. Was it Freedom, Georgia?
Don't quote me. I just saw like a couple of images of it and read a brief little press release on it, but
I think it might be Freedom. I got to double check it. But there's these 19 families in Georgia, and they're like made up of like doctors, lawyers, like all these different people. They bought 19 acres of land and basically want to create a safe space for black people.
I love it.
What blows my mind is their reaction. People are like, "Oh, so basically segregation?" Like, "Oh, so then," and I'm like, wait, when did they ever say that no white people could live there?
Well, okay. How many neighborhoods have you been in where it's been all white and you were looked at as an outsider if you came into them?
Damn near all of them that I've ever been in.
So, and that's one thing that goes back to what you were saying about people not understanding the foundation and wanting to argue, that's segregation. Well, let's take a look at, I don't know if it's gerrymander or gerrymandering. Take a look at how they zone certain areas so that the black people stay in one area and the white people stay in one. So
there's literally a book I got called "Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria?" and it's about that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's gerrymandering or gerrymandering, but I remember it in political science.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that right there is representation. You know what I mean? Like they're talking about they wanted to open up like banks and like grocery stores, all like
I love it. Black
farmers, like all that stuff.
Black. That's like, it. That is it. Honestly, that is it.
And that creates generational wealth. I'm sorry, you better say something.
No. I was gonna agree with you. I was gonna say that's it. Like that's, to me, equality for us starts with the economic growth, and we get that by having our own. So having our own land, that is wealth in itself.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hate how people try to like say I don't know, just the whole thing. I mean, a lot of the comments were like, this is like racism, like this is segregation, like this is blah blah blah. Like, at what point did they ever say that?
You remember that meme with Will Smith when he's like, he looks at the camera and then looks away? That's just how I feel. That's how I feel. It's like, if you really understood the history, if you really understood and or cared about the state of Black people in America, you would be funneling money into it so that we could build our own.
Yeah.
And while we're on that subject, we'll just go ahead and talk about the, allyship, because I'd be bothered. I'd be real bothered with, I know this is a tangent.
Go ahead.
No. What were you going to say?
I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry. I was going to ask, like, are you like on edge with allies a lot?
Yeah. Yes. Because I feel like it's performative.
Yeah.
It's performative. I really am on edge with allies. So, as many of you don't know, I was fired from the previous job that I had. I was a digital marketing strategist. I was there for about 2 months. And I was fired shortly after the George Floyd, his death. So he passed, he was murdered in May 25th, I believe. And the weeks after that, I was a wreck, like a mess. It was the first time that I had really understood just how dangerous it was for me and for my family for just being Black. And it was so overwhelming and so traumatizing. Like, at any point, we could be murdered and no justice served. Like, that feeling, it was like this sense of hopelessness. And another thing that scared me too is seeing the sense of hopelessness in you. Like, that was the first time I ever saw you that low, and it scared me because I didn't know what to do. And so in the weeks afterwards, I was crying all the time randomly. I'm trying to brush myself up before Zoom calls. I'm forgetting everything constantly because I'm on this constant edge of anxiety. I'm literally checking your location every 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, the anxiety would be so bad sometimes. Like, my hands would shake. I would feel faint, like I was about to faint. I was waking up randomly throughout the night with panic attacks, like panic attacks. And it would take me hours to go to sleep. I wasn't doing well. And so my boss at the time checked in twice throughout this time. And we talked a little bit, but it wasn't that supportive, in that the check-ins were really like, I do this, does this mean I'm racist? Or, well, being Black is like being fat. It was those type of check-ins. Yeah. And so it was like, I don't think you understand. Like, I don't, she's like, I think you should see a therapist. I know I should see a therapist, but I don't have healthcare, and I don't get healthcare with the company until 90 days. So I have to deal with this stress, this trauma, this anxiety on my own. And so I was really, really, really forgetting stuff. Like I forgot a whole project deadline.
Damn.
And yeah, we had a conversation about it, and she was like, you know, I'm getting really frustrated. I'm trying, but I'm getting frustrated, and if we have to have a conversation about this again, we're not going to have another conversation about this. And 10 days later, I was fired. And so the irony of it is that I helped them craft a "We Stand in Solidarity" post. Like I helped them create one of those social media posts that we care about Black people here. Do you? And so that's why I'm a little on edge and a bit fed up with that, because it seems performative. It seems like it's trending. It's a way to get engagement. It's a way to gain followers. It's a way to increase your brand awareness. But at the end of the day, what are you doing for Black people? Because if you're an ally, it's about action. Those words mean nothing.
Yeah.
You know? And so I honestly, I see all this stuff and I'm like, I get it, but what are you doing? And I'm not talking about donating to the NAACP. That's the easiest thing you could do. Yeah, those difficult conversations, examining yourself, challenging people that are perpetuating racism or discrimination, like the hard stuff. It's easy to post a Black square on Instagram. It's easy to put the references of where you can donate in your Instagram bio. That's the least thing you can do. What are you doing for Black people if you want to be an ally? So
one thing that I hate about that, like the performative shit, is when we speak up like, yeah, but that's not any real change. It's like, oh, see, Black people are so ungrateful. We try to help out and they blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, do y'all think that one post is going to help fucking dismantle white supremacy or like, what?
Like, yeah.
That shit, it irks me. And you know, before I used to like hold my tongue on a lot of things because I was like, I don't want to be like upset. I want to push people away. Like I want to push allies away. And I still don't. But at the same time, understand what the fuck like we're asking of you as an ally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you want, if you're serious about being an ally.
Yes. Like, dude, don't be up in my face like with some bullshit. Like don't fucking pity me like I'm a little ass child. You know what I'm saying? Like, Black people are we are the most resilient group. Like after all the things that we've gone through to continue, like, dude, the fact that we can compartmentalize the shit that we go through, like we can literally be in our car crying about something, suck it up, go into the office. Nobody sees that shit. You know what I mean? And that shit, it just irks me. Like, I feel for you. Motherfucker, I feel for me too. Like, right. Damn, if you want to really help me out, then help me out. Like you said, work on yourself, work on those around you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Make them aware of like the shit that they do, like the racist shit that they do. Like some of the shit doesn't, like, I don't know, man. It just it just irks me. It irks me. Like, and also too, I'm sorry, I knew you about to say.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Another thing I'm like on the fact of representation. When I recently shot a short film and I gotta finish editing. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna do that after this. But basically, one thing I thought about was like the set. You know what I mean? Like, it was like all white people. And then we had my boy Montel, who's Black. And then another one of my boys, Dima, who's from Thailand, but he's like white passing, you know what I mean? And I just think about like all the sets that I've been on, except for Laugh Tracks, that was pretty diverse. But a lot of the sets I've been on has been like mostly just white men. You know what I mean? If we're really gonna talk about like wanting some structural change and stuff like that, it starts with stuff like that, like making sure our sets are diverse and you see different people represented. You know what I mean? You see Black people, you see Black women, you see Indian women, you see like a transgender woman or man. You know what I mean? Like, if we really want to talk about making change, we have to actually make change. And even if it's like, oh, it's kind of hard. Like, how many like Black women DPs can I really find? Look, nigga, damn. If you really want to, like, if you really genuinely want to start making change, it's going to take work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're not going to go pop out. Oh, there go a Black woman. She a DP. Like, shit, fuck it. Go look, find one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Honestly, no, what you were saying, it ties into the point that I wanted to make is, and I'm going to cross-reference two different things, but when I started my marketing company, I only told a couple of people that I had gotten fired, which now that I look back on it, it was a blessing in disguise. But when I started my marketing company and I told people that I had gotten fired, they were like, "Oh, well, let's get you a job so you can have something to fund it." And I understand the idea behind that, which is let's get you some income. But I also, if you believe in me, then help me in another way. If you believe in me, find somebody, go through your network, find somebody who can, I don't know, buy my products, find somebody who can mentor me, find somebody who has the skill that I need so that we can partner together. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think people jump to the conclusion that all Black people need is money and that's it. Right. No, we need much more than that. What makes racism so strong is that it's a system. It's more than just money. It's people that connect with each other, that network with each other, that know each other. If you really want to be an ally, introduce me to the powerful friends that you have and vouch for me. Do you hear what I'm saying? That's when it starts. But as long as you keep throwing money at me, I mean, half of us don't really understand how to manage money. That in itself is a gift.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying? So if you really care, somebody that understands how to use their finances and manage their finances, connect me with them. Connect me with mentors. Connect me with network, because everybody says that your network is your net worth. Connect me if you really want to support me. Let's expand outside of just money. It's way more than money.
Yeah. There's this quote that's like, if you if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for the day, but if you teach a man how to fish, he'll be fed for a lifetime. And I think it's the same thing. Like, here go y'all fish, go have fun. Y'all go eat your food now.
Right.
And all of a sudden we hungry. Oh, then we gotta get some more food. Like,
got some more of that fish.
But yeah, man.
Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing is, I don't know if this is something I was telling you about, but I was just like, I get people, they think they're doing good by trying to link me to a job. I don't want a job. I don't want to go back to that 9-to-5 grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have been remarking like, "Oh man, you're glowing and all this." And it's like, I don't want to say I'm broke as shit, because I don't want to have that mentality, but the money that I want to be making is not here yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's on the way. I'm stuck in traffic.
It's on the way. It's on the track. It took a wrong turn, but it's on its way. Yeah. But just realizing, like, just how much more life I have in pursuing the things that I'm pursuing now, as opposed to working this 9-to-6 job that, even though I was secure and I was getting paid, I didn't even like it that much. And it's like, it shows when you start doing things that are more aligned in your purpose, how you show up in the world. And like, your interactions are completely different. You look different, you feel different. Not to say that this shit hadn't been hard, because it definitely is, but I would rather struggle with this than go back to that safety. And going back to white allies and just allies in general, if you believe in me, if you love me, if you want to see me do, pursue or achieve anything that I'm achieving, then help me on that path. Yep. Not on the path that you think that I should be on. Help me on that path.
Yeah.
So.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. So doubling back into like asking for help, I think a lot of people struggle with it. Because they're afraid of like being a burden, or like, you know what I mean? I don't want my friend to like think I'm being like a leech or something. Which also, along the same lines, don't become a leech. Mm-hmm. I think at one point I was getting real bad. I think with you, with money, I would ask for sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you ask a little too much. I was like, yeah, can I borrow 100? I wouldn't say nothing. I'd text you later, hey, can I borrow like 100? And like, you was like, damn, bro, the only time you text me is when you asking for money. And I was like, damn, she's right. Can I borrow 100 though?
At one point, I was like, damn, Landon, like, you know what I'm saying? Fuck with a nigga, man. I mean, I don't mind.
Yeah, but I think like I don't know. I it is important to ask, but also you know what I mean. Don't be leeching. Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of times people are just afraid to ask. Like one of my friends, something recently happened, and she was just trying to do a bunch of different things, and I'm like, dude, let me help you out. And she's like, no, I got. I'm like, dude, I'm serious. Like now I'm about to get mad. Like I got you. And after that, she was like, okay. And then she didn't feel as bad asking for help. And same thing with like a family member is like, now that we've established that trust, and I think that's another thing is the feeling um like you can trust that person enough to ask for
Huge.
things. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like
Yes.
I trust this
Huge.
person won't get upset with me, or I trust this person will like be there for me if I have something that. So I think and I think it's what, remember we talked about the whole thing with like the deposits of trust.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like when you deposit enough, then it's like, okay, yeah, can I borrow this, or like, can you help me like do this and this?
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's huge. That was one of the reasons why I didn't really tell anybody that I got fired is I was afraid of what people would think, and then I was also afraid of what people would say. And the biggest thing is I struggle with people pleasing and wanting to make other people comfortable. And I didn't want the conflict of telling somebody I had decided to pursue my dream that I've had for years to start my own marketing company and them say, you need to get a job.
Right.
Right. Because then the part of me that seeks security, which is very, very strong, is going to respond to that. And then I'm going to be looking for jobs when I know deep down that this is what I want to do.
Right.
And so asking for help, like you were saying, when you have those deposits of trust with somebody, like I knew you were the first person I told, and I didn't tell anybody for weeks. I told my mentor. That's only because I missed his call because I was getting fired when me and him were supposed to meet. Which he was the one that when we back to like episode 1 or 2 when we were talking about adventures, he was the one that really framed it for me in one telling me that it wasn't my fault because she didn't really do a good job of guiding me, even though that's the perception that she led. And then also basically being like, hey, charge it to the game. What's the next adventure? You know what I'm saying? But I knew when I told you like that I could trust that I wouldn't feel defensive by your reaction. Like I knew if I can't tell anybody, I can tell Landon. And that's one thing that when you're asking for help is knowing who you can trust, knowing who you can be completely vulnerable with. It's huge.
Yeah. Because that's literally saying like, I think people frame it like I'm weak right now and I need your help to like be strong. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't afford my rent right now, and I'm letting you know that I'm broke right now.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I think that's like a fear. Like another thing is like I don't want this person to look at me like that.
Yes. Yeah, but I know that you wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like we have that type of connection where I know you won't judge me for whatever position I'm in.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing with asking for help is one, trusting that person, but also trusting yourself. I think when you have been hurt by people, you learn to not really trust your decision making and your ability to choose people that are trustworthy. And this might be a bit of a tangent, but that was one of the biggest problems I had in not my last relationship, but the relationship before that is I completely lost my trust in myself because I had gone back to him so many times after traumatic stuff happened between us. And it was like, I can't trust you to make the best decision for me. Like I can't trust myself to make the best decision for me. And so from there, you start closing off to everybody. It's like I can't trust anybody. No, I don't trust my own decision making. But when I learned to trust my own decision making and I learned to trust myself, then I know who I can go to. And I know that even if things don't work out the way I thought they were, I still have the ability to pull myself up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
one thing I wanted to circle back around to was back to representation. and up to the business aspect of it, and Black-owned businesses. And the same thing with like having a mentor or like guidance or like even just like a um what's the like a what is the word, like something to follow, like
a blueprint.
A blueprint. Yeah, I don't know why I went blank as hell just now.
That's good.
But yeah, just having like a blueprint to like kind of base your journey off of. You know what I mean? Like taking little bits and pieces from this person's blueprint. Like, okay, this worked for them. Let me see if it works for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we have that as much as like other businesses or like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't have that same type of representation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I even look at stuff like I was on Uber Eats looking at like different, like they had this feature that was like, oh, Black-owned restaurants, like you asked for it, we delivered. Let's see how long that lasts. But it's like it's like you asked for it, so this is a one-click tab to find Black-owned businesses that deliver. There's one in this whole area. One.
And I bet there's way more Black-owned businesses too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But they just don't have.
They probably haven't even like signed up for like Uber Eats or nothing like that, or like how would they? Because like same thing, like maybe they just don't know about it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like like those. Is it every time is it Rick and Mortar? Brick and Mortar?
Brick and Mortar. Yeah.
I always think about Rick and Morty when I hear that. But like I think those like mom and pop shops, those brick and mortar, they don't see the importance of having like a Postmates option or Uber Eats option. Like nobody's gonna come out there because, and then they don't, like, you don't have outdoor seating like that. Like nobody's gonna come. You know what I'm saying? But if you have an Uber Eats option or like something like that, then that'll increase your business because a lot of people are probably ordering this stuff right now.
Yeah, and that's I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you good. You good. Go ahead.
Okay. That's honestly one of the reasons why I was like, yo, I got to start this company. Like and then it's something that I've been noticing too in my own company. It can get very overwhelming when it's just you. The key to scaling a business is to be more efficient at your operations. And sometimes efficiency means not doing them, employing somebody else to. And there are a lot of mom and pop companies who are still operating the way they operated a couple decades ago. Things have changed drastically in the last year. I mean, COVID has accelerated stuff almost to the point of like we almost time traveled.
Yeah.
In how people are starting to adopt technology. And the more research I do with this marketing company, the more I realize there are so many tools to automate tasks. There's a double-edged sword to that. We won't talk about it now. But there's so many tools that'll automate tasks for you that are way, way cheaper that these businesses can use. They just don't know about them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
no,
go ahead.
Did I cut you off at least 10 times an episode?
Well, that's the thing. When you be cutting me off, you're not really cutting me off. Because when I talk, after I finish a thought, I always say something after that's like, that's what it is. Or it's just an addition, but it's not like an actual thought. So that's why I'm like, you're good. Because I wasn't saying anything. I was just closing it.
Yeah. Sometimes the look on your face, you'll be like, and I'll be like, oh, shit, I done messed up. Like, I done messed up her whole train of thought. And then you'd be like, oh, yeah, I can't even remember. I'm like, I done ruined the whole show.
Honestly, sometimes you save me because I'll be about to say something and then I forget and you be like, and I'll be like, oh, no, go ahead. Because I got to remember this shit anyway.
Nah, what I was going to say, even with stuff like this podcast, like the transcribe, you know what I mean? Like, I was literally going to go through and like write captions. I have to go through each like clip and do that. Transcribe does it like that. This episode is brought to you. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah. Wait on it. It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming for sure.
It's coming.
But just how easy, like, that took off a huge load that I was like, damn, it's going to be a lot of work. Yeah. You know what I mean? But just like there's all these different options that is being provided to us now where we can like allocate these.
It'll do it for us.
Yes.
And that goes back to what you were saying about trusting people is we have to realize when you're running a business, nobody runs a successful business on their own.
Right.
Nobody. It's not possible. It's not possible. The greatest business, the ones that have scaled and experienced massive growth, have a team. They have a team, because I only got 24 hours in a day, but me and you together got 48. You get what I'm saying? So now we have more time to divvy up our tasks. And that's the thing with Black entrepreneurs, with Black owned businesses, is we have to figure out a way to connect with each other, to pool our resources together so that we can scale.
Yeah.
It's not about growing your business, it's about scaling.
Yeah. I mean, look at LeBron and his team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and his team, you know who his team is. Rich Paul, Mav Carter, what's that? Randy, and then is it just them? Oh no, yeah, because Shannon Sharp would be like, he's like the fifth horseman. But like they each are in different fields and they've created an empire.
That's the way to do it.
You know what I'm saying? But just the fact that he like LeBron allocated these different jobs to his friends, like that's what it's all about.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
They have an agency. They have an entertainment company. They obviously have LeBron. They have like a nonprofit organization. Just like all these different things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because he trusted them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure in turn they trusted other people in like subdivisions of their respective fields.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is the key to building a profitable business, to building anything, is you have to have a solid team.
Yeah.
Success leaves clues. That's one of them.
Whew. Success leaves clues. That probably made it for the 5 minutes, yeah.
Oh yeah, we good.
All right, man. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up then. Man, thank you everybody for tuning in again. The response once again has been amazing. Like, I'm so excited to see where this is at in like a month from now. You know what I mean? Like when we get our first sponsor and stuff. Like I'm all excited. Nah, but it's going so good. As always, man. If y'all have any time, please leave a review. We'd greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Write a few words about, you know what I mean, your individual experience with the show and all that stuff. We appreciate every single word. You have any last words?
Yeah, and if you have our numbers, if you follow us on Instagram or any other platform that we're on, please reach out. We read those, and we definitely appreciate all of those words. Like, you guys listening is just as much affirmation and confirmation to us as it is to you.
Yep. All right, man. Well, we going to finally, I say wrap this thing up like 5 times. Every time we end the show, I say it. I'm like, we going to wrap this thing up. Are you ready to wrap this thing up? Oh, let's go wrap this thing up. All right, let's go wrap this thing up. I'd be like, yo, just wrap it up. Damn. All right, man. Thank y'all. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. I'm your co-host, Landon Moss.
And I'm Gabby Moss.
And we are out. You look a little lazy. You had a little Fort Whitaker just now.